Hey chat, how are we doing today? I have no idea why, but in the interim of between the last time I opened this project file and now, being in Material Preview has gotten a lot more laggy, and when I say laggy, it takes longer to load. I don't know why, but it happens sometimes, you know? It is functioning correctly for now, though. Last time I think we were working on I don't think we were working on this. I think we were actually working on the gazebo. But the gazebo should be relatively fine for the time being. Hey, Luckily, how you doing? Oh, you even got the yippee emote today. So, today I want to make a couple of scene props. Now, the more important ones that I'm trying to make here are pipes and poles. So, I do have some placeholders over here, of which I was initially, planning on using these as a part of the water scene. And I'm actually going to hide this, because the water is actually all the way down here, and I do want there to be some space between the ground and the water, because whenever you're falling into a pit or water or any type of thing in these games, it's usually a fair bit further down than the main level itself. So we do have these ones. Now, I need to double check what the scaling on these are. So I've got our character here. So moving that over to here. So this is probably fine. I'm just thinking, how far apart the feet? Like, whenever the character Spire jumps, which is what this mechanic is called, it's like Cooper Spire jump. So we're looking at some more official art here. The points tend to actually not be that far off. Like, I know some of them can be quite sharp, like in the case of this, like, that thing is probably poking through its feet. But yeah, most of the time... I'm sorry, what is this? Hang on, just a brief investigation. Can't believe I'm already getting sidetracked and it's not even been like 10 minutes into the... What is this? Dreams. Oh wait, I think I remember this. This is like, that one publicly... Oh, I wouldn't say it's a game engine as such, but that's pretty interesting. So, when we're talking about Spire points, we're probably talking... Yeah, something roughly around this. So this is... I believe this is 3, 2? Yeah, Sly 3, Episode 2. So yeah, the points tend to not be as sharp from the looks of it. Some of them are rounded, but some of them are sharp. So I guess it's really just up to interpretation then, because I can't see any other way that it would go. Oh yeah, there's something similar in the background. I can see this one here, which is almost certainly a point that you jump onto. That would be roughly the same shape and make as these poles here. So I'm going to say that's probably close enough. However, I do probably need to scale these in the Z. Like, barring this slot here. So it's just trying to get them down to the water. And of course I can vary the heights of these and whatnot, so it's not the end of the earth, it's just, it would make more sense to have them. Although, mind you, I think maybe the water is a bit too low. So if I pull the overall height of this upwards... Like, yes, there's supposed to be some space here, but it's not supposed to be, like, taking over the entire thing. So, yeah, I think that's probably a reasonable height. Sly Cooper, water safety. There is a water safety thing in here. Okay. So what I'm trying to gauge is what the depth of the water is compared to the level height. Because they're almost invariably always two different heights. So, yeah, this is a probably good one. Venus. So, if I'm not mistaken, it's a full character height between this platform here, which is the main ground height, and the water. So, that'd probably be a full character's height. So, comparing this to the ground is... Yeah, okay, it needs to be a bit higher than that. So, yeah, roughly thereabouts. Okay, cool. So, bringing the... Is it the mock that I was using for this, or was there a... Is it grass? No, it's really not in either of those, huh? If I hit Alt-H, that's going to cause some problems. That's the only thing. Maybe it's in the same vein here. Map confines. Here we go. So... that should be fine. At least I know where that is now. Now, this one here also needs to be scaled out slightly. Alright, that should be good. And then it's time to start laying these out a bit. Now... is there anything in the series that has something similar to this? I don't think there is. Or if it is, it's in Sly 4 and I've inadvertently blanked it out because that is not the greatest of games. So I'm thinking probably, like, more towards the outside, because the idea here is that you would have guards patrolling, like, each side of this. And if they were to, like, catch sight of you, obviously they'd give chase. It would be flashlight guards, naturally, because they're on the ground. So how would you avoid the guards? Well, one example that was given, episode 2 of Sly 2, there's a flashlight guard going across a bridge, but the way that they would circumvent that is by having a rope along the sides of the bridge that you could just climb on and avoid the guard entirely. So this is probably going to be something roughly similar. Oh, where is my... I'm gonna make these unselectable for the time being, while I just duplicate these across. This is quite a fair bit of way too, so I need to keep that in mind when I'm placing these down, is that some of them are probably going to be roped as well, like you had the rope and it goes from one point to another. Be interesting to see how the ropes turn out, because it is a bit different in this case, I think. And obviously we have these up here, so I do need to take those into account. Grab these. Duplicate them across. Get rid of... nope. Get rid of these ones. And sort them out from there. So these are all probably way too close together, which is fine. Having a rough idea of where the posts are going to be positioned, I think, is more important than being particularly pedantic about how many there's going to be. So, duplicate that over there. duplicate that over there. Get rid of those and duplicate them across. Alright, neat. So I got that going. Now. What would I be looking for in terms of rope and going across the water? Probably... I do know, it's one of the India levels. It's the first India level. It's called a Starry-Eyed Encounter. Starry-Eyed Encounter. So, at the start of Starry-Eyed, okay, there's like somewhat of a decent image, but that's very dark to see. Well, far too dark to see, at least for me. That is India 1, I think. Yeah, that is India 1. So I'm pretty sure... Actually, let's see if the wiki has a higher quality image I can use here. Okay, this is like terrible. Like, they have this, which is the clue bottle map. And it is kind of hard to see here, but I can point out exactly where these bits are. So there's 3 spire rocks here, and what it actually does is you jump off of these, and then you actually jump to this section here. And you can't see it from top down, but there's actually a ledge that you shimmy across. But what I'm more interested in is, yeah, this lot here. So there's 3 here that go into this island, and then there's ones here that go up to this one. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's another spire into a rope in this section here. And while they're not quite what I'm looking for, they are relatively similar, I think. Similar enough that I can gauge roughly what I need to do. But something else, okay, I need an analog for a rope, is what I really need. So, I think my best bet for that is to just straight up make one. So, Shift S, cursor to world origin, and I want to add in a curve. And I'm going to be working on this for a minute or so while I sort this out. So, what I need to do here is I need to set this up so I can just position ropes and pipes in whatever locations I need. Because at the moment that's preventing me from getting a good idea of where I want to position basically what I would call anchor points for all these items. So I don't need something too thickened. I just need probably like 0.02. Is that 2 centimeters? Yeah, that is 2 centimeters. That's like really thick for 2 centimeters, no? Unless it's circumference, in which case, yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I need to add this to a new collection. We're going to call this ropes. So, Shift D. And get out of there for a moment. Cool. Oh yeah, that actually does track. So, getting to this, I'm just going to compare it to the size of the character and make sure I don't need to adjust the scaling anymore. So, compared to the character's feet, I think the rope is probably twice this, if I'm not mistaken. That is not a good image. I just need to find a good image of Sly walking on a rope. Actually, do I have one in here? Oh, I've got plenty here, actually. The rope is, like, the ropes historically are quite large, actually. Like, why are they this big? Like, I know, I know the logical reason is that the rope's that big so you can see them properly. But they should not be that large. I'm gonna say probably double the thickness and no more than that. So, ropes, set that to 0.4, and this one here to 0.4. Because they really do not... Well, what if I set this to 0.1? That's probably far too much. Alright, 0.05, but no more than that. Alright, so first thing I need to do is figure out the positioning of this object. So I've got plenty of these to work with. I'm gonna remove this. Put that one there, and I'm actually gonna use edit mode to position these in the correct positions. Just grab the both of these and subdivide this. So now we should see one in the middle. Okay, that's not too bad. So now we can just string these in between these as needed. So I'm thinking another one going across to here, and then like say 3 before throwing another set across. So unfortunately I need to place these individually, which is probably going to put a huge damper on me just trying to keep this at a reasonable amount of vertices, but we'll see. There's like a lot of faces to it. Can I lower the resolution preview and prevent that? No. Oh wait, is it this one? Doesn't look like it. Interesting. So this here, I just want to rotate it. That should be fine. Go from the top, so I can... Because it's always a straight path with these things. Or at least pretty much almost always a straight path. So I got that going. I probably want to link the materials of these together. I just want to get a material in just so I can see exactly where these ropes are, because the color of the rope is definitely going to show up against the water. So, rope, I'm going to say probably brown. And I'll set this to a fairly obvious color. I'm going to do like a nice bright brown. Set this to like 0.8. No metallic. All this should be fine. Now, I'm pretty sure I requested the materials for the pair of these to be linked together. Did I link them around the wrong way? Most likely. Okay, now that I can see those correctly, time to continue on. So, get that across. And edit this down. Scale that out. Cool, so we have the character running across these. It should be relatively easy to avoid the guards on the pathway here. I mean, obviously, like, you've got things like the light posts and that sort of thing to deal with them. But having extra options is always good, I think. So I'm also going to move some of these around a bit. So I'm going to have that one there, that one across a bit more. I'm going to start randomly rotating these, perhaps. So the easiest way to do that would be to move those. And then we want individual origins. And then random. Ah, okay, that's going to be a piece. But there is a way to circumnavigate this. So I want to just select this one. I need to really boost the size of this thing. Except I can't exactly see unless I pull this out. So all these should just be randomly spun about now. Okay, cool. So set that back to off, put that back at median, and get rid of that thing. Like that, and we should be good to go. Raise and lower some of these. And then delete those ones, and I don't need this one anymore. Alright, cool. So, one more rope from here to there. Probably need to move that up and tilt it a bit. Because the ropes do still have some semblance of tension to them. Alright, cool. So it should work fairly well, I think. And then the other one being having an anchor point between this pole here and the cruise ship, which would most likely be something along the lines of probably an object hanging off the side, be it like a, I don't know, not a life ring per se, but like a lifeboat holder or something along those lines. That'd probably be the best anchor point. Now, I do need to figure out what I'm doing with this, because it's supposed to be like a dock-hand warehouse type of thing, where people will go in and out. They'll have like various stuff, like boxes and whatnot, to carry out onto the ship. But I'm not sure if that's how that one's going to go just yet. Actually, I should probably... I think it's time we upgrade from the... Where is it? Around here somewhere. Map layout. I don't know how I keep missing that. So, I think it's time to upgrade from the confines to an actual map lot. Whoa, Jesus, okay. Clearly did not like that. I forgot that zooming out too far causes that. So, I think it's time I probably designed... I say that, but I also want to give varying heights to this place, so maybe I should hold off for the moment, would be maybe a safer option. Yeah, I think I'll hold off. At the very least until I finish doing the ropes and poles and whatnot. So, I'm going to have a placeholder rope from here to somewhere around here, maybe. So, grab this. And I need to probably lock this to a edge instead of vertex this time around. Grab that one and... probably around about here, I want to say. Yeah, that seems like a fairly safe option. So make sure that this is moved around. And maybe local X for this one. Again, I do still need to pull some tension on this thing. Okay, that should be good. So I got one set of ropes going on. Need to remember not to zoom out too far. And then same on these ones as well. So I probably don't want to get too silly with the types of, like, the way that I get rid of these. So I'll probably need to plan this sort of beforehand, so they don't feel all samey. Rid of those ones. Okay, that should be fine. So now I've got plenty of holes to work with here, and just get a rope or two on here. Duplicate that and move that across. Oh. Oh, it's just my cursor going off to the side. I was wondering what the hell was that? I figured it out. Don't worry, chat. Now, I probably need to move these closer, maybe? Do I? Probably gauge how close this is. Like, it's fairly close, and despite what everyone in the series thinks, like, Sly can jump quite a fair ways. Especially considering the fact he has the whole double jump thing going on. It's probably easy pickings for him. In fact, this slot here probably needs to be moved out further. But the problem with that inherently is I also have to change the position of that last rope, which has decided to go missing, apparently. Huh? I'm sorry, just one moment, chat. Where did that rope go? Wait, so somehow I managed to annihilate an entire rope from this without deliberately okay. Go off, I guess. I am not angry, I am just merely disappointed. Oh, it gives me another opportunity to readjust this rope, I guess. That is locked to an edge. In this case, I do want a vertex. Okay, and then this one definitely does need to be locked to an edge. about there, and then I have to readjust this again. So that should probably be fine. Alright, this time you have to stay there, you silly piece of... Well, I wouldn't even call this piece of fabric. Like, what is a rope technically? Fiber? I'm going to say we're probably going with fiber on that one. Now, this one probably doesn't need a rope between these two, but it will between these ones. I'm going to say probably, yeah, around about there is fine. Okay, and if I want any slack in this one, I'm going to have to scale this out a bit. Cool. Now, this one, across. This is quite a walk, actually, now that I think about it, but that's fine. Let's go to have a little bit of variety in movement. No, I give Sly 4 a lot of shit for not being a good game, and in my defense, it's not. However, like, the one thing that they really did a good job on, at least in my opinion, with Sly 4 is the movement tech. Because, like, it's all well and good to say that, oh, yeah, the story's a bit mid, they could have done a bit better with the way the characters are portrayed and that sort of thing. But you can't deny that the special mechanics that they give each of the ancestors per episode are, like, really good mechanics. And also, like, some of the stuff that you have access to as the default characters, like, I would love to see, like, if they ever, like, decide to do a full-on remaster of the Sly Cooper series, like, instead of the ports they have been doing, like, having a remaster and having Bentley have the ability to do, like, the bomb pickpocket thing, like the reverse pickpocketing. Like, I feel you could have done a bit more with that. Like, it was a really good mechanic, and I do enjoy playing around with it, if I ever manage to get the game working properly. However, there is the one mechanic that I do not approve of, that being the motion controls, but it's whatever. Like, everyone was doing motion controls at the time. It was a PS3 game, after all. It's just unfortunate that it's very difficult to find a functioning PS3 controller or a third party that has the 6-axis motion controls on it. Like, the problem is you can technically find 6-axis motion with the third party controllers, but most of the time they're terrible. Like, at one point I had bought a couple of third parties, like, in the hope that I'd be able to play the game again, right? But when I went to go and play, like, the first of the several mini games required for the story, by the way, you cannot progress in the story unless you beat these, I found out that the quote-unquote motion controls were just the thing stuck in one direction. So yes, technically the ball did move on the grid. However, it did not move in any way that I would intend for it to, and thus still locking me out of the game. So that's an oof, I guess. Oh well, can't win them all, I guess. I know that, like, the problem is so bad that I believe there's forums somewhere on the internet. I couldn't tell you where because I didn't look too much into it. But apparently, the only way to play the game now, like, if you got a fresh copy of Sly 4, Thieves in Time, the only way to complete the game is to find someone on the internet who's uploaded their fully completed save file, download it, and then like play the missions from there, barring the missions that require that particular minigame to be completed. Because good luck trying to find a functioning PS3 controller, especially if it's a stock controller, at a reasonable price. Like, I tried looking into it a while back. Like, I was looking on Trade Me, like a local auction site, and they were charging, I shit you not, $208 for a singular boxed PS3 controller, and the unboxed ones are not much better than that. Bruh. Like, playing old games, I think people forget to realize are prohibitively expensive if you're going for original hardware. Like, extremely expensive. And I feel for people with more popular games, like, say, the Pokemon series, I saw how much a unboxed copy, like, by itself, a loose copy of Pokemon Emerald US is like, what was it, 250 USD? Which equates roughly to almost 400 New Zealand dollars. Like, that is a huge amount of money to be dropping on a loose game like that. It'd be interesting to see, right? Because I have a lot of older games that for the most part, I've taken really good care of. I'm curious as to which ones I have are the most valuable. Because, like, it's rather interesting. I'm pretty sure I'd have to find it in my possession somewhere, a copy of a old, I believe it's a PS1 demo disc, I want to say. And I'm pretty sure it's not... Okay, so there's like a PS demo archive, like a PSX demo archive. I'm pretty sure the copy that I have, if I can find it, is actually not documented in the archive. So if I can find it and it turns out that it's not in the archive at all, I might consider maybe getting the contents of it to the owners of the forum. But that's only if it's actually a copy that they don't already have. And the reason why I was trying to go through old copies of demo discs is that there's a specific game, and I cannot for the life of me remember very many specifics of it. What I do know is that it's a PS1 game, because it was, like, a really old demo game. I know it was on, I believe, the same copy as either Vib Ribbon or it's almost like a Rage platformer game, which I've also forgotten the name of. Not helpful. And I'm sorry for that. But it's like a platformer game where you're wielding magic powers, but you could change the powers by collecting certain objects on the stage. I know that's a very vague way to remember this specific game, but that's all I can remember of it for the life of me. And it's been bothering me for quite literally years now. And before anyone says it, no, it's not Pandemonium, I'm pretty sure. Because I wouldn't say it's an open 3D platformer, but it's not like the type of... If I had to describe it as anything, it's like Tomb Raider almost, but like magic mechanics. It's really weird. Like, I'd never know if a game that I'm remembering from a really long time ago is a fever dream or not. I was a very sickly kid. So I can never be entirely certain whether games I'm remembering from a really long time ago are games that actually existed, or if there were games that my brain just made up. But if anyone's familiar with whatever game it is I'm talking about, and I know it's not Pandemonium because I know for a fact that A, the movement was completely different, like the level design was completely different, and B, it was not a restricted age game, so to speak. And grab this in the Y. Sounds like Pandemonium. It does. I swear it does sound like Pandemonium, but I know for a fact that it's not. Because the thing is, right, like, I looked at Pandemonium, so I'll have a look at this. Pandemonium. And I believe it's the first one. Like, it sounds like Pandemonium, but the level layout is completely wrong. Because, like, I'm looking at this, like, this is, I believe... Can I actually show this on screen? What's the... It's... I'm not familiar with American... the American board system. Kids to adults. Okay. So, Pandemonium. Now, the problem with this being the game in question is that it almost looks like this game, but it's not quite the game that I'm looking for. I remember distinctly, and if somebody can provide proof that it is this game, I'd be very appreciative. But the first level was a desert level. Like, it was... That's why I compared it to Tomb Raider. Was because that the first level was just literally in a hole in the desert, basically. It's such a goddamn silly memory. Like, I cannot for the life of me just remember anything correct about this game at all. That's why I'm somewhat convinced that it's a hallucination of mine and not, you know, an actual game. Like, this is not the first time this sort of shit's happened to me. Where, I've described in almost perfect detail a very specific game, and just to not have it exist whatsoever. Not the first time, probably won't be the last time. Good thing I have chat who can hopefully provide me with some insight. Otherwise, they can just make fun of me for being the way that I am when it comes to these games. Actually, I can just scale all this in the Y, right? Except for these ones, but... Ah, they're just... Monster Hunter Wilds? No, not even close. Like, we're talking a game that possibly came out in the very early 2000s. Now, the reason why I'm not entirely convinced this game exists is because I've looked up on said forum all of the potential candidates for this game, and none of them have provided me with a acceptable result. Like, I have not found a single one that was even close. Like, the closest I could find was literally Pandemonium. So that is rotated correctly. Maybe I just need to... Maybe if I... edge and then align rotation. That's going to be a pest, actually. X... Is it X or is it Y? Okay, and then I can just follow this, I think. And yeah, it persists in being an annoyance. Why is it like this? And before anyone brings this other game up as well, it's not Psychonauts either. Completely wrong type of game. But it looks fairly similar, I believe. I swear to God, if I end up on a Nick Robertson video because of this, Satisfactory. No, we are not feeding into the machine on this one. Sorry, chat. Sorry to disappoint, but this is not a factory type of deal. Okay, and move these around. In fact, I'm going to swap these two. Those, and now it's time to move this into position. Maybe I should do a play of Pandemonium at some point and see if it is similar. If it's not, then like I'll try and remember more details of it. But if it is, like, that'd be very helpful. Oh, interesting. These don't have edge slide. I wonder why that is. Okay, and round about there. That should be good. This. Yeah. Although I should probably be snapping this instead of freehand, yeah. I thought that was snapping lower down. I guess it wasn't. I initially thought it was, but maybe this file is just weird and buggy, because I mean it's not the first time that something weird and glitchy has happened in this file. Christ, it's not even the first time something weird and glitchy has happened today. I'm gonna move this all the way to the front. In fact, I'm gonna swap these two, I think. Just having a quick look. Sorry, chat, I just need to take a quick look at something. Okay, cool. So, chat, have you ever been in a situation in life where you, like, for my D&D players out there, have you ever been in a situation where, like, you have to make a skill check for something, and then you just breathe a sigh of relief as you just barely pass the roll? I just had a moment like that just now. Nothing bad, I just had to... I wouldn't even call it a bluff, maybe like... Maybe a charisma saving throw would probably be the best one to describe that one as. Regardless, I basically had to bluff my way out of something. And I succeeded for once. A very rare W indeed. Scale that up. Alright, cool. So those should work. Now I do need to add details to these polls, but what I can do is I can edit one and then just propagate the changes across all of them. move some of these around. And it's basically come to my attention that a lot of these ropes are just heading off more towards the right. And if I want to have, some semblance of randomness to them, I'm just going to have to avoid that. And instead of that, I actually just inadvertently made them go more that direction. So, move those. And move that over there. Alright, cool. More ropes. Actually, does this count? I suppose it probably doesn't count towards my vertex count, does it? Because I'm looking at this, and the only way... if I click on any other object, it gives me a count, but it doesn't on these ropes. So I can only assume that this is false geometry, for want of a better term. Go. See there. Scale this down a bit and move that up. Okay, what are you doing, you silly thing? There we go. Cross. Now I know the fact that these aren't the origin is not within the geometry might screw me over later, but it's behaving itself for now, so I don't care. Now, a little bit slack, and to the left, actually. I know my lefts from rights, I hope. I spent enough years in elementary school trying to discern that fact. Take that more towards that way. Nope. I'm actually curious as to how this looks in first person. So, is it shift tab for this? Yes. And then total gravity. Oh, right, of course. There's no floor there. Wait, there's no floor there. What? Did I delete the... Oh, I must have deleted the dock. Okay, that was quite silly of me, actually. Maybe I... Oh, I deleted like a bunch of stuff. How did this happen? I have so many questions and none of them go answered, apparently. Did I maybe... No, I didn't accidentally hide them. Wait, are they... Wait, where are they? How did those end up over there? Bruh. Okay. So that's the dock pathway. Somehow this all ended up over here. Okay, and all these need to be... Oh, actually, I know why they ended up like that. It's because I changed the object origin of all of these. Because of that, they're now acting like this. That was on me for doing that. Okay, that makes a bit more sense, actually. Come on now. Come on, you silly thing. Be reasonable. Man, this thing really doesn't like me today, huh? What in the hell? -1? That doesn't quite cover it, does it? RZ -0.8? I want to say that's correct. I don't know that for a fact, but that's just what we're working with. It's weird because, like, how did this happen? Exactly. Like, how did this manage to become... Oh. Eh? Hey, you know what? Don't question too much, like, on it. There are a lot of things I'm questioning at the moment. More specifically about my life instead of this project, but... a lot of things I'm questioning. Oh, actually, the object origin is right there, so that's pretty convenient. Except that's flat against there, but then this is off to this. How? Bruh. Okay. You know, I'm just gonna move these around. So this should hopefully. So that levels out that side. Is this not aligned properly? This should be aligned correctly. Yeah, it's aligned properly. This thing's just being weird. I think what I want to do is just align it to the outside of this fence. And hopefully this time around it will actually behave itself. Now this here, so they should be in the correct position now. Now it's just fixing up this one here. Now, why would this not want to... Oh, it's because both of them selected. Eh. Why is this not connecting to the... What do you have against me, Linda? It's literally just keeping... Oh, is the bottom not? Okay, it's the bottom. Alright, time to sort this out. First of all, why is there just a random overhanging edge here? There's no reason for this thing to be here. Be gone. How did this even happen? It's just randomly... It's almost like it's randomly producing edges and vertices where I didn't want them. Okay. You know, I'm just gonna get rid of all of these. Aha, I knew it. Grab this, extrude it downwards. A, and then I believe it's Alt N. Yep. Recalculate outside, so this should be functioning correctly now. And all of these should auto-update. Now, if I grab this and it's still doing... Why are you still doing this? Blender, dang it. How and why are you like this? Good lord. Alright. I can't force it into position because then it's just going to start messing around with these other ones here, which I've already managed to perfectly put in place. So it's just that one being a pest for whatever reason. It's not like there's anything hanging off the edge of this, I don't believe. So for whatever reason, it's decided that it doesn't want to... Maybe if I move it closer, it might decide that it wants to do what I ask of it. Nope. So, negative... I think I did negative 0.8. Okay, there we go. I think I've fixed the docks now. Now, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure if I... Okay, here's the thing. I kind of want to parent this, but at the same time, if I... Okay, so I basically have to join it, but if I join it, I'd have to sort out the fencing. And I think it'll be worth it, though. Because I can just sort out the fencing in a later time. But at least I know that all of them have it. And then, oh yeah, I need to create a rope here to go to the ship. I'm thinking probably straight to the bow of the ship, like the very top. Would probably be the best spot to put it in. So, lock that to there. Move that to there. Now this one. There, rotate it. Because I want this to not have a lot of slack to it at all. If it's being mounted directly to the front of the ship. There we go. And yeah, I've got this almost locked directly to the back of the ship, but I want to be like on the back. In fact, do I even want this to be higher up? Probably not. I think it would cause some issues if I did. So I move that across. I think that's a better spot for it. go, and move that up. Right, that should be good. Alright, so if I bring back the map confines, I'll have to mess around with these later, because I do want the map to have some semblance of height difference between all these different buildings. But I have yet to figure out how to go about doing that, because there's a lot of outdoor greenery area, but Auckland, as far as I know, is not necessarily the most flat of locations, I guess you could call it. Like, there's probably a fair bit to be done there. Oh, almost forgot that. There's a couple more here I'd need to go ahead and put in. So I'll do just that. There. One there. Oh. So it has some slack, but not a huge amount. And I believe the aerial is fine. Go, and then one more. Back across. This one down a bit. Take that, and probably even just move it across slightly. Yeah. Alright, cool. So we got some ropes in. I mean, like, I would have preferred to have the original positioning from the measuring tape that I was using, but since that wanted to disappear into the ether, using actual physical objects works a lot better in this case, I think. Alright, cool. So, I think with that, I'll end off the stream. Give that a bit of a save. And Twitch side, do I have anyone for you to pester? Good stream, thanks, likely, I appreciate it. No, I don't think so, not tonight. Anyway, so I managed to get the ropes done, but I've still got to do pipes. I've still got so many more ropes to place. And before even all that, I still have to adjust the level height, so fair bit to do in the coming days, I think. Anyway, I shall see y'all in the next stream.